And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at Blood Bowl Team Manager, the card game expansion Sudden Death. Blood Bowl came out from Fantasy Flight Games last year. It was a Blood Bowl Team Manager. Blood Bowl's been a game that's been out for a while. The game enjoyed some popularity. It's kind of dropped down. I haven't heard much about it. But when I heard about this expansion, I was excited because it brings in some new armies, especially the undead. And for some reason, I like the undead. The undead have the ability to rise back up. How does that work in a football-style type game? Let's look. Okay, we're going to talk about some of the things that this expansion adds. It adds a couple optional things. First of all, we have these new footballs that are in here. These are like magical footballs. When you have a match, you'll put the football in the middle randomly, and then you will turn that football over to see what it does. For example, this is like a normal ball with +2 star power, but this one, if you control the ball at the end of the round, then you get an extra fan. This one's only worth 1 star power. This one, when you get control of it, you get to tackle someone or discard a card from your hand. Well, this one here is worth 3 star power. So this is something, I mean, it's not a huge deal. I can deliver, or you know, I can play with or without this. This is just a way to kind of change the way the football works in the game. One thing this game does is adds contracts. Contracts are new ways for players essentially to get fans from matchups. And so players are going to be able to get these contracts, but they're not shown until the end of the game, until the end of the season. At the end of the season, you will show these and you will score fans equal to them. So you will, for example, turn it over. This one's worth 2, that one's worth 4. You can see that they're worth different values. Some of them are worth 2, but there's a couple that are worth 5. So when you take one of these, they're going to add fans to you, so there's something that you want. So here, for example, is a matchup where the winner can get a contract if they want. And the game has brought in lots of extra matchups that involve these contracts. And not only those, but the big bowls, the Dungeon Bowl and the Chaos Cup and even the Blood Bowl itself, all have contracts now into them. And there's even a few of the highlight reels that also mention contracts. So that's another thing that was added. The biggest thing that this expansion adds, of course, is the 3 new teams, all part of the Dark Sorcery Syndicate, the DSS. So there's 3 of these leagues. First of all, we have the Champions of Death. I would just say these guys are the undead. All right, so you have a ghoul and you have skeletons. Now, what these guys have, and this is the ability that's on all the DSS people, is the ability that when these guys are knocked down, they have a chance to get up again. That's what this skill here is. Whenever you're knocked down, you take these actions, whatever they are. But this one here is regeneration. And so when this happens, a player is going to roll the dice. And if either one of the dice is an X, which is a 1 out of 6 chance, then you have the choice to get back up again. So you can see here that the undead, they have a lot of these guys, or the white, who not only has a chance to get up again, but has a chance to take 2 cheating tokens when that happens. I also like the zombie because he's not that bad when he's down, but he can get up again. And so they're nice. It's a nice addition to the game. The undead here also have the mummy, which is a very powerful regular character. Notice he has a double tackle, and then if he's knocked down, he will tackle and has a chance to get up again. This is the guy who just keeps going, the Energizer Rabbit of this game. And he's a dirty player. Whenever he injures somebody, he gets a fan. So come on now. Why not throw this guy into the game? I like him. I like this guy because his name Jibber, and here's Jabber, Jibber Jabber. And then we got Gristle. And so there's some characters I like to point out. The big one here, another mummy, Mama Hotep. This one is a cool one because he has the cheating and the tackle. And if you knock him down, or knock her down, or knock them down, I guess, you get a cheating, a tackle, and a chance to get up again. But every time your opponent gets a cheating token, you can see what it is. That's a big deal. Really cool character. I like the Undead faction with their special cards. They also have more opportunities to get up again. And so no rest for the wicked, relentless. They just keep getting up. It's the army. If you're trying to annoy your opponent by really never falling over, this is the one to have. Now the Dark Elves, they have abilities when they're knocked down too, but their abilities aren't about getting up again. In fact, their abilities are about holding onto the ball. So you can see this one, she cheats when she falls over, but there's a lot of these cards that when they fall down, they'll get the ball. Or when they fall down, you'll be able to take a card from your hand. Also, you'll notice here on this card, and it's on several of the cards in this expansion, you have an either or. This guy can discard a card from your hand or take the ball. He also has dump off. If he's going to drop the ball, I can give it to a friendly player. So the Dark Elves are really good at maneuvering that ball. So if you're playing with those special balls, these guys can be very, very handy. And they have some pretty neat special characters in the game too. And let's take a look at their big baddie here. The Queen Nefaria, she does double tackle, and when you knock her down, she'll tackle again. But she also has a cool Juggernaut skill that she ignores guard ability. You got those guards protecting your good players, it's not going to stop her from coming after you. And when she tackles, you must target a downed opposing player at the matchup if able. So there's that too. And then there's some assassins in the Dark Elves who can go after a player who's higher than them and still get to roll 1 die rather than rolling 2 and letting your opposing choose. So these guys are good, and they also have special abilities that will let them manipulate the dice and, again, manipulate that ball. And also just hate the other team. Hatred. The final faction is the Vampires. And the Vampire faction is cool. They have these vampires who that if they tackle another player, they get a Bloodlust token, which will take their star power from 3 to 4. And there's even special abilities that will allow you to work with these Bloodlust tokens. And again, these guys are similar to the undead. If the vampires fall down, there's a chance that they'll get up again. But they're more powerful than the undead, but not all their characters can get up again, mostly just the vampires. So these folks here, the Black Fangs, are a nasty team, especially their, I love this guy here, a triple tackle. And he's always hungry. If you select a target for a tackle attempt, he must target a friendly player. So there's that going on, but still, a pretty neat, there's just some really neat abilities here. They're all about just sheer power. And Hypnotic Gaze, when you play, you choose an opponent player. That player loses all printed abilities until the end of the turn. That is tremendous. This guy can be effectively one of the most powerful players in the game because you can come in and stop your one biggest, baddest opponent from doing whatever they need to do that turn. The game also comes with a few more cards. We have a few more coach cards and a few more upgrade cards for each of the teams, tokens for the different players, and of course some freebooter DSS cards to round everything out. This is what I would call an easy expansion. There's different kinds of expansions. Some expansions are necessary to play the game, trademarked. Other games, other expansions add a whole bunch of complexity and take the game in different directions. This one, though, just adds a few things to it, but at the same time, keeps the enjoyment level at the same or above the base game. For example, it adds 2 basically new mechanics, like the contracts, which are nice. It adds a little bit of randomness, but not too bad, and it gives you something to go for that's different than just getting straight fans. And it also adds those footballs, which, you don't need to use those, but it adds a little bit of diversity to the way the balls work across the grid. The big thing, obviously, is the 3 new teams. Now you have 9 different teams to pick from, and I really like these 3 teams. In the original set, I like how each of the teams is different. The dwarves are tough, and it's hard to knock them over. The Skaven are small and fast and skinny and get out there. Here I like the undead, the basic undead, the zombies and the mummies. That's my favorite army. In fact, that's probably my favorite army currently, period. I love the abilities to, you knock me down and I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. Idea that they have that works really well, and I like some of them. If they get knocked down, they can tackle you back and such. The vampires are interesting because of their ability to be really powerful, and then the Dark Elves have that maneuverability. That's not my style for me personally, but I see how it's one that a lot of people are going to like. But they each have a very distinct feeling, and they add it's nice to have that third league in the game. So all in all, if you like Blood Bowl, this is an obvious buy for you. Not that it's essential to play with, but because you want the extra teams, and why not take these 2 extra options? The contracts just add a little bit of diversity to the games and matches that you're playing, and more diversity in games like this are better. So an easy choice for me. If you like the Blood Bowl the Team Manager, the card game, then you will like this. If you didn't like it, this will do nothing to change your mind because it's more of the same. But in this instance, in my opinion, more of the same is a good thing.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door! Shut the door!
Yeah?